Ah, Texas. Home to big steaks, big parks, and ironically far fewer cowboys than you might think. That is, if you don't count the ones from Dallas taking a beating every year. Shots fired. You've probably heard the saying before, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, it's true. Everything is bigger in Texas. And yes, that does in fact include your average Texas backyard barbecue. Oh, and the absolutely massive homes, of course. Texas has some of the cheapest housing options in the United States, but that doesn't mean it's lacking in the luxury department. So what do you get when you mix a relatively low cost of living with massive Texas-style luxury homes? Well, why don't you join us and find out as we explore the most expensive homes Texas has to offer. Number 5. 1000 Kirby Drive, Houston. $20 million. Of course, you know we had to start off with Houston. There aren't that many other places you can snag a mansion like this for the low price of $20 million. Located in River Oaks, on one of the most sought-after streets in the city, this home is, and has always been destined to be, the crown jewel of Houston's real estate market. It's a very fancy house, is what I'm saying. Built back in 1986, this home was designed for entertaining international royalty and the endless convoy of servants and bodyguards that come with them. With over 22,000 square feet of livable space, accompanied by 2 separate gates and wielding a motor court capable of holding up to 50 cars, I guess even the parking spaces are bigger in Texas. Couple that with the 9 bedrooms and 15 baths this mansion offers, and, well, this place is more an entertainment venue than a home at this point. Well, let's take a gander at the many entertainment options this home provides. First off, this residence sits on over 3 acres of land, providing ample space for hosting entire concerts if need be. And it's strategically located close to all the major attractions Houston has to offer. Coincidence? I think not. Next, we go through the imposing 12-foot bronze front doors. And what do we see? A banquet-style dining room with many tables and even more chairs, all exquisitely decorated with exquisite crystals and elaborately designed furniture. You know, the kind of dining room you'd get depressed eating alone in. Unsurprisingly, there's also a commercial-grade kitchen just next door. All the food you'll be feeding your guests has to come from somewhere after all. And of course, there's also a large fitted wine cellar. Need I say more? Naturally, this entertainment venue— sorry, I mean home— also has an amazing swimming pool with a waterfall and hot tub. Classic. And right next to the pool is a cabana specifically to cater for the pool and add extra space for, well, entertaining. There's also a commercial-sized hibachi grill, which I'm sure was built for no reason whatsoever. To be fair, this mansion does come with the usual stylings of your everyday home. A nice formal sitting room, a large, very comfortable-looking master bedroom, with his and hers bathrooms, a fitness room, and that thing no home can ever do without, a dining room that doubles as a ballroom. Number 4. 4009 Westover Drive, Dallas, $20 million. Traveling on to the next home, we have a significantly older listing, dating back almost 100 years to 1929. Of course, it might already be over 100 years when you watch this, if we aren't done in by a new apocalypse by then, that is. This estate, and you might start to notice a theme here, provides you with a lot of room to run around in. The home itself occupies 10,500 square feet and sits on 10 entire acres of land. If you didn't get it from my intro, things in Texas be large. The main house has been around for a really long time, but instead of looking like something straight out of a silent movie, it's been kept up to date, with constant renovations giving it that modern touch. There are 5 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, multiple amenities, including a bowling alley, a tennis court, a pool, because Texas, and a putting green. Frankly, they could fit a whole golf course on there if they wanted. Speaking of which, if you don't like the design of the main house, the property is so large, you could simply just build several new houses there to fit your preference. Or you could just live in the 2-story guest house found on the property. Although if you did that, you wouldn't just be missing out on some of the stuff you can find in the main house, like an elevator to cut down on the monotonous walking. You won't get to enjoy the warm fireplaces, or make pizza in the pizza oven that was built into this place for some reason. With the sheer size of this property and the amount of stuff it market offers, this home has found itself on the market with some crazy prices, costing as much as $32 million back in 2010, and yet somehow has managed to sit on the market for 11 years. These days, it's settled down to about $20 million. Why is everyone sleeping on this place? It has a 4-lane bowling alley and a pizza oven. What more could you ask for in a home? Number 3. Museum Tower Penthouse, Dallas. $24 million. In case you weren't quite aware, Texas isn't all just ranches and McMansions. It's got its own fair share of penthouse apartments. And if you're wondering how they get all their cattle up there, worry not, there's a direct elevator. Found in the heart of Dallas, the Museum Tower Penthouse grants you breathtaking views of Dallas, the city voted best skyline in the world, making this a complete steal at $24 million. Pardon me. My inner real estate agent is showing. Although, to be fair, this penthouse is located in one of the tallest residential buildings in the city, making the views genuinely breathtaking. Plus, there are many floor-to-ceiling windows for you to enjoy said view. The penthouse itself is also fairly large. You've got 9,350 square feet of livable space to bum around in, and 5,600 square feet of rooftop terrace. You know, for rooftop things, like events, evening meals, and declaring to the entire city that you're the king of the world. So while the other rich folk of Texas write $1,000 checks to whoever has to mow their lawns that week, you get to live the modern life in a tower that provides so many amenities, it'll be weeks before you step foot outside. I'm talking amenities like fitness centers, pools, and multiple lounges. And hey, if you miss that good old-fashioned Texas-style lawn, Museum Tower has got your back. There's a half-acre lawn on the property. That way you can feel the grass between your toes. Before hobbling back to your room, of course. Ready to buck the stereotype of cowboys and ranches and instead live in a modern penthouse apartment with dark oak stained floors, multiple large living areas, and a valet service that comes to pick up your trash every single day, then Museum Tower Penthouse is the home for you. Number 2. Gearhart Ranch. $30 million. So I just went on and on about how great a modern penthouse is. So, in the spirit of being fair and balanced, I shall now gush about a true classic Texan bit of real estate. This property perfectly encapsulates everything that comes to your mind when you hear the words $30 million Texas ranch. Wide open spaces, a lovely home in the middle, and lots of space to ride those horses. Located outside Fort Davis, Gearhart Ranch is the kind of property you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else in the world. Originally founded back in 1890, during the dying years of the Old West, this ranch covers 9,154 acres of land, which, dare I say, is very large and very Texan. Gearhart Ranch is a savanna of grasses, making it a great place not just for work, but to hunt, have a picnic, or just a leisurely drive. Nearly all of the ranch is accessible through a network of roads. Just don't go wandering around aimlessly. You will get lost on your own property, and that would be very embarrassing. When you aren't busy living your own cowboy fantasy on your ranch, you get to retire to a lovely 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, surrounded by dozens of barns and pens, so you never feel lonely. To put it simply, Gearhart Ranch is an iconic example of the finest of the Highland Mountain ranches of West Texas. The grazing lands in the upper elevations reach up to 7,600 feet, providing great views and an amazing place to clearly view the constellations of the Milky Way. This is the kind of authentic and stunning West Texas ranch that brings so many people to the state in the first place. And if endless skies, beautiful sunsets, and bright stars aren't enough to convince you, well, the movie Giant was filmed near Gearhart Ranch back in 1956, so it does have a tiny bit of star power. Number 1. 5950 Deloche Avenue. $33.5 million. For our top pick, we have arguably one of the most famous addresses in Dallas, Texas, built by world-renowned architect Robert Stern, and located in the much-coveted Preston Hollow neighborhood. The prestigious home, located at 5950 Deloche Avenue. This 4-bedroom, 15,000 square feet masterpiece sits on a whopping 9 acres of prime Dallas real estate. And when I say prime, I mean prime. The likelihood of building another sprawling property like this in the heart of Dallas is pretty low. Apparently, when Robert Stern was building this place, he underwent the paradoxical task of making this giant mansion feel cozy and homely. When you first arrive at this resplendent estate, well, you see a pretty big house. Past the front doors of that big house is a stunning black and white marble entry hall and a cantilever staircase, both clearly incredibly fancy. But that's not where the fanciness ends. From there, you're led to the formal dining room, one of the multiple areas you can dine in this home, which also includes the breakfast room next to the gourmet kitchen. Naturally, this estate is absolutely bursting with detail. And by detail, I don't just mean architectural flourishes. I'm talking luxury and amenities. Right from the living room, you can head straight to a leather-walled billiards room. Yes, the entire room is dedicated specifically to billiards, which does explain the leather walls. It's great to not hurt your hand punching the wall after you lose. Or maybe that's just me. Billiards aren't the only kind of recreation this mansion provides. We all know you can't truly relax without someone getting wet, which is why this home comes with multiple pools and saunas. There's an indoor spa fitted with both wet and dry saunas, depending on how you want to sweat that day. There's also an impeccably designed indoor pool, perfect for cooling off after your visit to the sauna. Just take a shower first. While the indoor pool is decorated with mosaic tiles and hand-picked stones, the outdoor pool, while not as fancy, is Olympic-sized, so it does make up for it. If working out at the indoor gym is getting a little stale, a few laps around the pool ought to have you looking like Michael Phelps. If you're the kind of person willing to put down $33.5 million on a unique piece of Texas real estate, and let's face it, if you're watching this video, you probably are, then this 3-story, impeccably landscaped home is the place for you. I mean, it even has its own tennis court. What more could you want? So which one of these homes is your favorite? It's number one, isn't it? It always is. Please let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, do leave us a like.